Well, good morning. I'm going to try not to walk around too much, but so Bill introduced me a little bit, but I'll just tell you a little more. I live in Montgomery, Alabama, and I am a freelance writer and editor. I write for a bunch of different magazines and publications all over, and I write about a whole bunch of different things. I do write a decent amount about food and food culture, particularly in the South. And I have since 2015 when I first met, or 2014 when I first met Bill Walton, I have written a decent amount about oyster farming. My first article was in 2015. I got really interested in it, and I've kind of been hooked in with Oyster South ever since. I am a board member, but I'm also now, as Bill said, embarking kind of on a new effort for and with Oyster South, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm a storyteller as a writer. That's really one of the first things that got me so interested in oyster farming after that first article is the stories. There's so many, I mean, you guys probably realize it, but there are just so many amazing and different types of stories and multi-layered stories around this industry. And storytelling has always been attractive and important to people around the world, but I think that nowadays that's in overdrive. We are consuming content at a crazy pace. Everything that we see or do almost everything is built around a story, from ads to social media, all the streaming services. We're consuming all these TV shows and movies. I think some people still read books. I hope so. But anyway, so Oyster South, exists. It has a kind of a multi-layered mission, and you guys know what it is. But one of the pieces of that mission is to promote the industry outside of the industry. So we want people to better know and understand what oyster aquaculture is. And we kind of think that one really great way to do that is with stories. So what we're doing now, what I'm helping Oyster South do, we started in March. We're going to start putting out 3 articles every month. They're going to live on the Oyster South website. We've got to fool with the navigation on the website a little bit and get that a little more prominent where you can find that. But there's already a stories page on the website. Right now, you scroll down to the bottom to find it. We're going to get that moved up top. But the stories are going to cover 3 categories, and one of them, we're going to do farmer profiles. So we have the Farm Fresh, that's our farmer profiles. We have a little category we're just calling Bivalve Bites, and that's going to be a little more science-y, industry news. It's kind of a catch-all. We can put almost anything we want to in there. It's a real broad category. And then at the end of every month, I am going to be sending out, and I'm trying to build this email list up, sending out an e-newsletter. I want all you guys, I did not do a sign-up form, I should have, but I would love for y'all, I think my email, anybody who wants to get on that list, if you're not, most of you guys are probably on, you get the industry e-news, but if you want to get, we've got separate lists, so if you want to get this e-news I'm about to tell you about, please email me your email address. I'll add you to the list. It'll only be once a month. We won't inundate you with stuff. But that e-newsletter is going to be very food-focused. I'm going to be asking different chefs around the South, cooks, sommeliers, brewers, bartenders, all kinds of folks who are into good food and into good oysters to talk a little bit about their relationship with oysters and then share recipes. That's the big thing. So, and drink pairings or shucking tips, things like that. All different kinds of ways to help people enjoy oysters more. And that's called Eat Up. And I think I said something like elevating your oyster eating experience or something. But anyway, so that'll go out in an e-news, and then it'll also live on the website once it goes out. We're also promoting these articles through social media posts. But what I really want mostly to say to you guys is, I wanted you to know what we were doing and why we're doing it. If you go to the website and you see, hopefully, look at all these new stories and this content that's coming out. So what that is and why, but I also want, to produce all this content, we need lots of good ideas. So I would love to, any of you guys that want to talk to me about your farm, your gear, your whatever, if you're a chef or a restaurant owner here and wants to talk about that and your relationship with oysters, I will be around. I'll be at the happy hour, kind of just hanging out, hoping that people will come and talk to me a little bit. And I'll start just collecting, making lists of how we're going to fill those content categories every month going forward. So I mainly want to know does anybody have any questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it? Anybody? And I know I'm moving the microphone around. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So any questions for Jennifer? Because certainly we want, is there a question over there? I missed it. There's one over there. Let me walk this down. Here, actually, here, you hold this, Jennifer. Go ahead, Dick. Go ahead, Albert. Go ahead, Albert.
Hi. Hi.
How far reaching with your publications?
Well, so it's everyone right now. The only way we're kind of promoting what we're doing is through Oyster South's social media channels. Now, I hope that, and a couple of the folks that we've already profiled have done this. When we profile you and we put it out on social media, we've tagged you, and hopefully you're adding it to you're pushing it out through your social media, adding it, linking something. If you have a website, a press page, but yeah, so right now it's really kind of just an organic push out, but the goal, and particularly with the e-news, is to grow and get these stories out beyond y'all, the current kind of industry audience, because y'all know what you're doing is special. You know why you're doing, all the benefits of it, but we really want to just push that message out to more folks who aren't in it. For one thing, even now when I talk to people and say anything about oyster farming, I would say 2 or 3 in 5 do not know what I'm talking about. And 1 in 5 may actually have kind of a negative reaction to it. Some people still associate the word aquaculture with fish farming in China that's not regulated, or, something that's dangerous or weird. And, people don't care about anything that they're afraid of and don't understand. So, part of it too is just to help people understand what it is, and then even beyond that, again, just how special it is, because that's what sucked me in. I write about a bunch of different things. There's not a single thing I've ever written about that I've actually gotten involved with at this level, being a board member, doing all these things, and really, because it's a great story. There's so many great stories, and I think more people need to know about it, so that's what we're going to try to do. But the better stories that we have, the more stories we have, the more consistently we put them out. All that is how we can build an audience. So, but I would love for you guys to start, even if it's not the farm profile on your farm. Love for you guys to start reading them, looking at them, sharing them, again, on your social media, then the people who follow you see it, and start pushing, and it just kind of goes out from there. So, anybody else? Yes?
Yeah, in North Carolina, we were talking about the word farmed versus cultivated, or trying to find a better word that people, because people, they associate, like you said, fish farming or aquaculture with, maybe they've heard about salmon farming or et cetera. Yeah. So that kind of ties into the previous discussion. But a lot of the farmers are, once they get busy on their farm, they're kind of, they might tend to pay a lot of attention to what they're doing and not always getting in touch with people that could help kind of showcase some of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a good idea to try to get people together, and I don't have a specific question other than, maybe, so you're putting together, how do people reach out to you? And how,
Sorry, yeah. So that my email, you can reach out to me on Instagram, but I am fine to have a full inbox of stuff. So you guys email me. We did start in March. The first one was on the Texas Oyster Company. We've got the one that'll come out next week for April is Rattlesnake Cove. And that's one thing. I want to get to everybody and tell everybody's story, but we are only doing one a month. We're not. We want to put out a lot of content, but we don't want to just go crazy with it. So it may take a little time, even if we talk this afternoon or email me, to get to you. But, I'll respond right back to you, but as far as getting to tell your story and getting it up live on the website and all of that. But to your point, I think there is kind of a negative connotation with farming sometimes, but I also think of the South, people, we're an agricultural region, and people love farmers and feel very connected to farming. So I don't know if we necessarily have to change the word. I think there's pros and cons to that, but I think just, again, being really clear and getting the message out about what oyster farming is versus, again, the I guess, salmon farming or other things that could have a negative connotation. But yeah, are we good? Okay, man, I didn't think I'd take 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. So remember, if you're a farmer, this is free publicity. If you're a farmer and you want to, we have to move on. Like, if you're a farmer, it's Farm Fresh.
Yeah.
If you're in the food and beverage industry, it's Eat Up.
Yeah.
If an extension or a researcher, it's Bivalve Bites.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and anything, but I'll help you figure out where you go. Y'all just email me, let me know what you want to talk about, and hopefully I can help you tell your story.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks.
All right.